Hello everyone. So today we are going to discuss about the Bluetooth. Bluetooth is one of the major wireless technologies developed to achieve wireless personal area network. Okay, WPAN, which we call in regular daily talk, we call it as a WPAN, right? It is a wireless technology. It is used to connect devices of different functions such as telephone, laptop or desktop, notebooks, cameras, printers. Number of applications are there which we use the Bluetooth, right? This Bluetooth was started by the SIG, that is Special Interest Group. It is formed by four companies, that is IBM, Intel, Nokia, and Toshiba. These companies form one group, that is SIG, and they have invented this Bluetooth device. Bluetooth uses the omnidirectional radio waves that can penetrate through walls or any other non-metal barriers. Then the if we discuss if we see the rate of data transmission by using the Bluetooth is 1 Mbps, and the bandwidth which is used by Bluetooth is 2.4 gigahertz. Okay, so if we'll talk about it, the next thing we will see about the Bluetooth is its architecture, how this has been made. This architecture is divided into the two parts. One is piconet and another one is a scatternet. Okay, so we'll start with the piconet. In this piconet, if you can see the diagram, one primary node is there, and another we can say another some systems are connected to this primary or master node, which is called as secondary or slave node. One primary or master node and seven secondary nodes or active secondary nodes are available. These can be only there can be only one primary or master session in each piconet. Okay, the communication between the primary and the secondary can be one to one or one to many. So Piconet can have up to 255 parked nodes. Whatever the secondary slaves are available here, that can be up to 255. But at the same time, only 7 active slaves can be available in this Piconet. Only 7 active nodes can participate, can transmit the data in a single Piconet. Okay. Uh, so that is why those 255 park nodes or the slave stations and cannot take part in communication until it is moved from parked state to the active state. That we have to remember. So this is the basic structure of Piconet, where we have one primary node and other nodes are working as a secondary node or the slave node, and there will be only 7 active nodes can be possible, and 255 parked nodes are available, which will be in paused mode. Okay, then the second structure is scatternet. Okay, second is a scatternet. If you can see the diagram, you might have analyzed that it is the combination of two or more piconets. If we will combine two or more piconets together, then it forms a scatternet. Okay, here also a single piconet will be having one primary node, and other secondary nodes are connected to that primary, and that will be working as a secondary slave. Okay, now it may possible that one node who is working or who is working as a slave or secondary slave in one piconet, that machine can be a primary node of another piconet. So that particular machine or the node will be called as a breach slave. That particular machine can take the data or receive the data as a secondary node in first piconet, and it can transmit the data in second piconet as a primary node or as a root node. Okay, so the thing is that one can act as a sender as well as receiver, but at different time, not at the same time. That we have to remember. So this Bluetooth architecture is divided into the two parts. One is piconet and another one is a scatternet. Okay. Now, the Bluetooth protocol stack. This is the structure of protocol stack. Here we have some layers like in OSI or TCP/IP model. Here we have physical layer, data link layer, middle layer, and application layer. Okay. Now, if we will start with the first one, that is the radio layer or the physical layer we call it. It deals with the radio transmission and modulation. The radio layer moves data from master to the slave or slave to the master. Vice versa communication will be there. It is a low power system that uses 2.4 gigahertz ISM band in a range of 10 meters. Okay. The band is divided into the 79 channels. Each of one will be 1 megahertz, and the Bluetooth uses the FHSS, okay, frequency hopping spread spectrum method in this physical layer to avoid interference from other devices in the network. Bluetooth hops is 1600 times per second. That is, each device changes its modulation frequency 1600 times per second. Okay, and this everything will be happening or will be dealt by this radio channel or the physical radio channel. Okay, now if we will talk about the baseband layer, Bluetooth uses a form of TDMA, that is time division multiplexing. It consists of one type, that is time division duplex TDMA, TDD, TDMA. So that is used in this baseband layer. Master and slave stations communicate with each other using time slots. Okay, as I said, at the same times they cannot work as a sender as well as the receiver. They can be at any one of, right? So the master in each piconet defines the time slot of 625 microseconds. This TDD TDMA communication is half duplex, in which receiver can send and receiver receives the data but not at the same time, right? Now also there are two type of the links that can be created between the master and the slaves. Uh, and those links will be created at this baseband layer only. The first one is asynchronous connection less, and the second one is synchronous connection oriented. Okay, and if the structure is using the asynchronous connection less services, okay, asynchronous less connection services, then it will only use this above layer, that is logical link control adaptation protocol, which is also called as L2CAP. Okay, so this ACL link, that is asynchronous connection less link, is only using this L2CAP for data exchange, but synchronous connection oriented channel does not use this. Okay, you have to remember this one. The various functions of L2CAP is like segmentation and reassembly. That L2CAP receives the packets up to 64 KB from upper layer and divides them into the frames for transmission. Okay. Then it adds some extra information, like some basic details that will be added as extra information, and to define the location of the frame in the original packet. Okay, then this L2CAP again reassembles the frame into packets again at the destination. Okay, so these segmentation and the reassembly can be performed by this L2CAP. Then the second function of this layer is multiplexing. That is, it performs the multiplexing at sender side and demultiplexing at the receiver side. Because at the sender side, it accepts the data from one of the upper layer protocol, upper layer protocol frame, and it frames them and then deliver them to the baseband layer. Okay, it receives the data from the upper layer and it just delivers to the below layer. Then at the receiver side, it accepts a frame from the baseband layer, it extracts the data and then deliver them to the appropriate protocol layer, right? Because this layer is the middleware layer, right? Uh, only asynchronous connection less link will be using this layer. Now the third function which is performed by this layer is quality of service. It handles the quality of service requirement both when links are established and during normal operation. It also enables the devices to negotiate the maximum payload height during the connection establishment. So these three basic functions will be performed by this L2CA-P protocol, L2CA-P layer. Okay. Then after that, the above layer is basically application layer which deals with the user's device. Then we have Bluetooth frame format. This is the frame structure, the frame which we are transmitting as a packet from one device to the another device and through which the data will be transmitted. This is the frame format, okay, in which pattern, we can say frame format means in which pattern the data will be transmitted. So this is it is divided into the three partitions. The first one is the access code, then the header we have, and then the data is there. This access code, which is of 72-bit field that contains a synchronization bit. It defines the master slave, okay, it defines the master node. Now the second is, which is of 54-bit, it is called as header. This 54-bit field, it contains 18-bit pattern. As you can see here, it is divided into a partition which is of 18 bits. These 18 bits will be repeated for 3 times. Okay. Now, from this, the first field is address field. This 3-bit can define up to 7 slaves. As we are aware that total 7 active nodes or the slaves can be available in single piconet, and to identify that each device, this 3-bit address field is available which can define up to 7 slaves. If the address is 0, suppose this address field is 0, then that means it is used for broadcast communication from primary to all the secondary slaves which are connected into this piconet, right? Then the next field is type field, which is of 4-bit. It identifies the type of the data coming from the upper layer. Then we have F field, that means a flow bit. This flow bit is used for flow control. Suppose this flow bit is having the value of 1, that means the device is unable to receive the more frames, so it will not accept the next data from the sender. Okay, then the next field is acknowledgement field. This A is acknowledgement. This B, whenever this beat is 1, that means the acknowledgement message is going from receiver to the sender back again. Then we have the next field, that is S field, which is used for sequence number. This bit contains a sequence number of the frame to detect the transmission, as the stop and wait protocol is used in this Bluetooth architecture. Okay, what is stop and wait protocol, that we will see in upcoming chapters, but still right now you have to only remember this S is for sequence number. Then the last field from this header field is checksum. Now this 8-bit field contains the checksum to detect the errors in the headers. Okay. Then the last bit is data field, that can be from 0 to 2744 bit long. It contains data or the control information coming from the upper layers. Fine. Then the applications of Bluetooth. We all are aware about the usage of Bluetooth, right? We already using this Bluetooth for accessing or for retrieving a number of files or for different purposes. For example, for communication between the peripheral devices, we use Bluetooth, right? Then modern healthcare devices are there. Modern healthcare devices, what happened with that? In this modern healthcare devices, by using that we can send the signal to the monitors. By checking the patient, the signals can be sent to the monitors. Okay, so modern communication devices like mobile phone or PDAs or laptops, etc., to transfer data rapidly, right? Then in dial-up networking also we use Bluetooth. Then It allows the hands-free voice communication with headsets, file transfer operation from one mobile to the another mobile. So these are the few applications which we use for in daily routine while we are accessing the Bluetooth for this type of the applications. So I hope you understood the concept of Bluetooth. We use this application or use this wireless media in day-to-day life, but how it actually works, what is the architecture of Bluetooth, what how the data will be transmitted, what is the frame, what is the protocol stack, that you might have understood now after this lecture, right? So we will see, we will see the next topic in the next lecture. Thank you.